So taking a break editing my Goldfinger production video for you guys. I was on my way to see Ballerina yesterday. I know that there was a first look of this game that dropped a couple of days ago before the PlayStation State of Play for 007 First Light. Like it was announced that it was going to be called First Light and that we were going to get gameplay this Friday, which unfortunately I will have to cover Saturday morning. But we got our first official trailer for 007 First Light, and I wasn't expecting that. I was on my way to see Ballerina, and one of my friends alerted me that the trailer had dropped. I've already watched the trailer a whole bunch of times because, of course, I'm on the train. I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I got headphones in. I'm going to watch that trailer before I go see Ballerina. And I've watched it a whole dozen times. I'm going to watch it with you guys here and give my thoughts as I watch it. It's going to be as if I'm watching it for the first time, just in case you haven't seen it, just in case you're curious as to what I'm talking about. But essentially, what we're doing is we're getting another James Bond video game made by the creators of the Hitman video games, IO Interactive. To be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of the Hitman games. I know that they're great games. I just could never beat them because they were so open ended. I had no clue how to progress through the game. The last one I played was like Blood Money or something. And I remember that being hard as hell. Maybe that's just me, but I do think that they are the perfect developer to take over for a 007 video game franchise. They apparently want to make this a trilogy. It's an origin story starring a young James Bond. I hope this works on screen share. Let me see if I can share my screen. I hope that this works. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it does. It's loading right now, but this should work. Yeah, this is a 007 origin story. In this is their own take on James Bond. It's not tied to any movies, it's not tied to any novels. It definitely takes inspiration from the novels, and you can definitely tell that there's inspiration from the movies as well, but it's not based on a specific actor's run or Bond doesn't look like a specific actor either. But this is actually significant because other than the Amazon stuff and that David Heyman and Amy Pascal were producing the next Bond movie, we haven't really gotten anything Bond related. And the fact that this is actually coming out next year, this game, so we are actually going to have something James Bond related coming out next year. So here's the trailer for you guys, just in case you haven't seen it. I think this is probably going to lag on. Yeah, this is going to lag, but it is what it is. So yeah, this is.
Parents cut their own rope to save him. He watched them fall, then found his way off that mountain.
Yeah, this might not work because this is lagging.
Then started a grand tour of every major boarding school in Britain.
Always at the top of his class.
So I'm assuming that that's M. And also, going back to the beginning, they were talking about Bond's parents and how they died in the climbing accident. I like that they kept that lore.
To do with him, Mom?
No, and I suspect he feels the same way. But what he did in Iceland...
What he did in Iceland was insubordination. He was ill-disciplined, utterly reckless.
Looks so good.
Thanks to flying luck. Give me one good reason to put him in the program, Mom.
I think you just...
That's got to be M, right?
It's really quite simple. Bond is a bullet.
Oh, here comes the big face reveal.
Let's give him.
He looks like Nathan Drake plus Tom Holland put together, plus Dexter. I love the facial scar. I think he looked like Michael Fassbender in that shot. MI6 looks awesome. That's got to be money. Q looks like Robert Downey Jr. Does anybody agree?
We're facing a situation of the utmost delicacy. I need all my pieces on the board.
I love that they threw in like actual gameplay. This looks so good. So it sounds like 009 is the bad guy. Got the wit. The Majesty's theme is a nice touch. I love that. Nice shot. Best shot in the trailer. Oh my God. It's a James Bond movie you play. That's it, guys. That's the trailer, and it looks amazing. Driving sequences. I can't believe they're bringing driving back in a Bond game. I was getting so giddy when that happened.
Suppose it's another teachable moment.
So I take it that guy Green, yeah, coming 2026. It's going to be on all the platforms. This was just on the PlayStation State of Play yesterday. So it is coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and then tune in for the gameplay reveal this summer, which I believe is going to be on Friday. I won't be able to talk about that until Saturday. But yeah, that is the 007 First Light trailer. I can't believe this game is actually like getting realized. And if we can take a look at some other things too about the game. I'll share the screen again. If we Google 007 First Light, it'll come up to the website. It'll tell you, it'll give you a little bit more. They'll do, Wikipedia. I mean, obviously, like they're gonna tell you like the basic stuff. But let's go to IO Interactive's website. This is where you can find it out. Yep, see, it's coming to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch 2. I'm surprised they're gonna put like a. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the James Bond video games did get started on Nintendo, so it is coming to Switch 2. Gonna be on Steam if you play on Steam. But yeah, so here's some information. I like that shot. I'm not sold on the design of Bond himself. Like I said, it looks a lot like Ethan Hunt meets Tom Holland meets Nathan Drake from Uncharted meets young Dexter. The guy who actually is playing, who played young Dexter, is actually voicing Bond. Philip something. I don't remember his last name. What I do like, though, in terms of how Bond looks, they got the scar. So in the books, if you haven't read the James Bond books, he has a scar on his face, and they kept that feature. So they're definitely bringing in stuff from the books, or at least staying true to the novels, while also paying homage to the movies. Like that boat scene, that wide shot. I don't know if it's in here. This one, yes, this one. That looks like a scene right out of like Skyfall or Casino Royale. And I'm assuming this right here is probably the villain's lair. And it sounds like the villain of the game is 009. So it sounds like 009 goes rogue and Bond has to stop 009 in order for Bond to get his 007 license to kill. This is essentially what you're doing. And I was always against the idea of Bond doing an origin story, but at least in the movies, like the most I need to see in the movies is what we got in Casino Royale. But I think an actual Bond origin story could work in a game, especially if you're doing it as a trilogy. So yeah, you're going to become 007, discover a new standalone reimagined James Bond origin story, and the events that led an audacious young hero to become the best MI6 agents. Over here, a thrilling espionage adventure. Embark on missions in breathtaking locations, drive iconic vehicles, so they're bringing driving back, thank you, and dive into a cinematic adventure in pursuit of a rogue agent. Yep, so 009 is the bad guy, as they were saying in the trailer. He's the rogue agent who's always one step ahead. It's going to be interesting to see a young Bond go up against another 00. Apparently, in the game, Bond is only 26 years old. Spying your way. Go silent or go loud. This was one of mine and everybody else's concerns about the game, whether or not they were going to make you play it in a similar style as Hitman. And that leads me to another question. Is this going to be as open-ended as completing the missions in Hitman? Obviously, like open-ended, yeah, you can go silent or go loud. Like if you just want to go in guns blazing, you can do that in this game. But like, how do you go about completing the missions? Are the missions going to be a linear set type of thing where you just move in one path, or are the missions kind of like more open world, open ended? Well, I don't know. From what I remember from playing Hitman, you could do a whole bunch of stuff. Like you could use different disguises to accomplish your objective. It didn't matter how you accomplish the objectives, as long as you accomplish the objectives. So I wonder if that's going to come into play here, or if it's just going to be more linear with Hitman style kind of gameplay, like what the basics of Hitman just put into a Bond game. Going to be interesting to see, because I had heard that MI6 is going to serve as like the hub where you can go back and select your missions and select levels. So I do think it might be a bit linear in that regard. But yeah, you could play it either way. If you want to make it stealth, you could do stealth, or if you want to go in guns blazing, you can go guns blazing. You can go silent or go loud, whether fighting with fists or firepower, using gadgets to infiltrate, or bluffing your way past guards. The approach is entirely up to you. God, I can't read. And welcome to MI6. Test your skills and replay your favorite missions with additional modifiers for endless espionage fun. That's why I don't think it's going to be as, like, I don't want to say open world, and open-ended to me, I keep using that word because it makes it seem like you can just go about, like, I guess it's more about, like, whether or not you want to do stealth or just going guns blazing. But with so many creative ways that the Hitman series lets you complete your objectives, I feel, as I was saying, I feel like this sounds like it's going to be more linear than the Hitman games. So it's going to be interesting to see IOI pull this off. And I think that they are the perfect development team. EA Games definitely gave us a whole bunch of fun Bond games. But did any of them really blow you out of the water other than Everything or Nothing? I guess Nightfire. I never played Nightfire. Agent Under Fire, I think I rented like once. I never played it again. I never played the From Russia with Love game. But yeah, so about the game. 007 First Light is a thrilling narrative action-adventure game developed and published by IO Interactive. Follow James Bond as a young, resourceful, and sometimes reckless recruit in MI6's training program and discover an origin story for the world's most famous spy. And they took the Eon logo off of here, so now it's just IOI and then Amazon MGM Studios. I'm glad that the game still saw the light of day with the merger between Eon and, or the transfer of power, rather, between Eon and MGM Studios. That is 007 First Light, and this was, if I can find it, they'll probably have that image now, but this was the first image. This was the first look that they gave us, if it wants to pop up. This was the first look that they gave us, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. And that got me really hyped. I did not expect the trailer yesterday. I watched it a whole bunch of times already. I'm going to keep watching that. The good news is that this game is coming out next year. So it's not that far off. I had an inkling maybe it might be this year, like at the end of this year, like Christmas season. 2026 though, I can wait. I waited almost a year and a half for No Time to Die to come out after its initial release date of April 2020. I had to wait till October 2021. I can wait for First Light, and I think it's going to be a really fun game. I'm glad we're just getting more stuff about this game. Like, it's like we finally have news. We finally have some, other than Amy Pascal and David Heyman doing the next Bond movie, which we have heard no traction on since. We actually have something James Bond and 007 related, you know? And it's the video game First Light coming out next year. And we are actually getting something James Bond related next year. So what do you guys think of 007 First Light coming out next year on PS5, Series X, and Switch 2? Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. I'll leave my links to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Check out my other James Bond related content. I'll leave that. Obviously, this is a part of the Q Branch subsection of the channel. I will leave a playlist with all the Q Branch videos at the end of this video. Stay tuned very soon for my Goldfinger production history video. I'm in the middle of recording and editing that now, kind of taking my time with that because the last two I really edited within like 2 days and recorded in 2 days, and it was just exhausting after a while, and that's kind of why the Goldfinger one's taking a little bit longer. But regardless, let me know your thoughts on 007 First Light. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. This is Q Branch signing off.